How y'all doing?
Yeah, you
Welcome back,
doing?
welcome back to another episode of Japa Diaries, documenting African immigrant experiences, the whole shebang, the thing. Malik, how are you doing?
Not bad, I'm excited for today's episode actually.
I feel like you're always excited for every episode, which is
is
great.
that is that is that a problem?
It's not a problem. I think it's nice. I think it's really good. It's consistent.
Yeah.
Um, but yes, today's episode, I'm I'm excited and a little nervous. Well, I don't know
Mm,
if nervous is the word because it's
apprehensive, maybe?
yeah, it's a vulnerable episode essentially. It's one of the vulnerable ones.
How about to say, how is that different from any of the other ones?
Fairs because it's somebody else being vulnerable.
Mm,
Yeah. But that's part of the whole thing, right? We're sharing our own experiences as well.
uh-huh.
Um but yes, today's episode I was thinking about how, part of growing up, right, is reevaluating your relationship with your parents. Um and what you want it to look like going forward. Like I remember realizing, oh, they're just people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just people. And then even realizing, oh, my mom is just a girl.
I literally was going to say, I feel like a couple of months, like, oh, okay, so you don't even understand what's going on. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I say no
yeah,
more.
yeah. She's just a girl, or my dad is. He's actually just a little boy sometimes,
Honestly, yeah.
um, but yeah, like I mean, before I got to this point, I definitely struggled with like what does this relationship look like? What is it supposed to look like? Because on one hand, you kind of want to make them proud, right? Because that's always been the thing, make your parents proud, make your parents proud. But like, yeah, you have to live your life,
No
you
more.
know? And part of being an adult and making your own decisions is like sometimes that there's a clash. There's a clash between what they want and what they think will make them proud and what
Uh-huh.
you want for yourself.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, I guess for you, when do you feel like you hit that point in your adulting where you were like, okay, I kind of want to re-evaluate this relationship and what I want it to look like?
I mean, I don't think I had like a snap moment of when that happened, but like as you were saying, I think mostly was when I said I have to live my life from me, you know.
Mm-hmm. How old were you? What was that era?
I was probably like college, post college type of situation when I'm actually out on my own now, really asking
Mm.
myself what do I want out of life, what I want to do, trying to figure
Huh.
that out. Then in fact, that was even just one phase. Then I now moved on to a stage of okay, what will make me happy? But that's another a whole a whole another
Uh,
one. But
uh-huh.
I ultimately came to the conclusion that yeah, you want to make your parents proud, but I still have to live for me. And hopefully we have like enough overlap there that
Uh-huh.
it's enough for them
That we can
or at
come
least
together.
digestible for for everybody. But
Digestible, I think, is the word. I think that's the word. Do you remember any like specific things where you were like trying to make a decision that maybe there was a clash of like what you want versus what they think you should do?
I don't. I think the most recent one, because I just got married, and your parents always, everyone's parents, wants to weigh in on how this wedding is happening and things like
Oh,
that.
fair.
And it was actually really hard because again, I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted. Like I'd never actually just thought about, okay, what do I want for my wedding type of thing. I've actually never had that thought. Then I have people
Mm-hmm.
that I trust, I love, that my parents have leaned on, for so much of my life,
Mm-hmm.
giving data and input, right? Then I have someone that I've chosen to spend the rest of my life with too, who also has, strong opinions on all of
Mm-hmm.
that, right? And it would have been easier to navigate if like I had my own opinions fully and that could be what would have been
Fair.
front and center. But then I had kind of juggle, okay, two opinions I really, really care about. Then I said,
Respect,
Malik,
yeah.
what would be smartest for you and your relationship for the rest of your life? You
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 know
you
what?
make
Fair.
you
You
make the right
fair.
decision here.
Fair, 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 fair.
Too much.
How did they take that decision?
Nah, they were all right. They were all right. They were all right. They were all right. I think
Mm,
our parents give us a lot of grace. They don't like hold grudges. I like that they always, say how they feel, which
mm-hmm,
sometimes is the a good and not so good thing because our grandparents
mm-hmm.
can be very candid, very callous.
Yeah,
Every moment is a lecture moment.
it is, yeah.
It's just yeah. I think me and my dad actually sat down one time. I had a conversation. I literally told him, I said, "Dad, I think you're done parenting." You know, no, like seriously, like we talked
Yeah.
about it. And even him too, he was ready to give up the reins too. He was like,
Are
"Okay,
you
this is."
serious?
Oh yeah, like I think he spent like maybe a week or two with
Mm-hmm,
me
mm-hmm.
in Atlanta, like right before like I was getting married, and him too was realizing, yeah, I'm actually done. He's about to be his own
Yeah.
man. I'm like, yeah, okay, so let's get it all out now. Whatever we want to say to each other, whatever we want to talk about, this is
Mm.
it. After this, you're done parenting.
Okay, because
Now
mine has
one,
not reached yet. That's why I was asking, like, how did you get there? Because I feel like I'm still dealing with the things. Like, I feel like I even said that to them at some point. Like, you kind of have to trust that, like, really, for the most part, your parenting work is done. Like, you've done the bulk of it. And I think I said something like that. And they were like, well, we're your parents. We're always going to be parenting you. It's just, it's just how it always is going to be. And like how him, even when he was married with children, like his dad was still parent him and things. And I'm like, I get that, but also like, guy, dress back small.
yeah,
You
yeah, I think you
understand?
just,
Like,
yeah, I think you just have to keep on reinforcing it because, yeah, like
yeah,
even with having that dedicated time to talk and everything, your father, he was still,
you still come
are,
back.
are you praying? So
Oh my
I mean, they
God.
literally cannot help themselves. They won't be able to sleep
Mm-hmm.
at night. Sometimes I give them grace and just let them get it off their chest because I know it's actually burning them on the
Yeah.
inside. But let me tell you what you do now. You go and buy one of those fake degrees and you say,
Mm-hmm.
congratulations from graduating from
From school
raising
of
Abim's.
parenting.
So then you hang it up in their house. Happy,
Yeah.
congratulations. You even celebrate, you
Yeah.
give them cake with candle
Yeah.
on top. So that every
Mm-hmm.
time they have the urge, they have to remember that they've graduated. You
They
understand? Yeah,
graduated.
yeah,
You
yeah. So you
see,
just have
you're
to
onto
keep
something, no. You're onto something.
um.
You're onto
And you can actually
something.
say that I'm like sometimes I'm like, okay, Dad, I don't want to talk about this right now. I don't want to do this right now.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah. Yeah.
that'll come off as rude. It's
Yeah.
I think
It's a lot
I've accepted that this is going to be a uphill back and forth battle just for the rest
for the
of
rest of your
our
life.
life.
Wow. Wow.
It
Wow. Wow. Wow.
is what
Wow.
it
It
is.
is. I don't know. I
In a
don't
pain.
know. Because I don't know. Okay. So the reason I chose this topic and why this immigrant thing is I've noticed that a lot of my strains with my parents, like we do this thing, and people tell us that we do it where we refer to our parents as though they are not the same parents.
I think it's good
Um,
like that. It's good like that because we're just
yeah,
being objective, right? And the thing is,
yeah, like so your parents are different from my parents
which is
in the way they
true,
parent
right?
us.
Yeah, which we kind
Yes,
of
yes,
learned
yes,
that
yes, yes.
the version of mom and dad I got is not the same version of mom and dad you got.
You
So
got
we
yes,
have to talk about it, a little separate.
a little differently, a
So
little
what's your mom
differently.
like?
Your mom is. I think this is actually very true in how we experience our parents differently. I think you have a boy mom when she's with you, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have a a mom trying to raise a woman in the world.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, my strains, the things that I have dealt with have been around me being too American,
Oh yeah.
or they've been around the concept of me becoming American, and almost like being American is this like bad thing, right?
Yeah.
It's this scary thing, like I'm becoming of the world. I don't know if that makes
No, yeah,
sense.
it does. It does. Like,
I mean, to some extent, I am. I'm birthing into the world.
I mean, the reality of it is like, we'll be somewhat American. They're also somewhat American. It's just,
Yeah,
how much American is a problem.
yeah. Um, and it occurred to me that like, well, two things I'm actually quite curious about. One is my mom. Please, guys, before you send this thing to my parents, think about it. Is it necessary? So let's
Don't do
just,
it to, I
chill.
see.
Let's just
Safe
chill on
space,
that.
safe space,
Let's chill on that. Okay.
safe space.
But like, I think I like, okay, are they tweaking because they've been in Nigeria for so long, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So the exposure tonight to America is recent and like, whoa, this is a lot, right?
mm-hmm.
And or is it even worse for the parents who actually, like the immigrant parents who actually raised kids here? Like, is that fear even worse because it's starting so early, right? Or are they able to adjust more because they came earlier? They already know what America is to some extent. Maybe not the actual youthful years, right? Because they didn't do their youthful years in America, but like, you know, is that easier to adjust to because you experienced America for longer?
You know what? That's a great question. I think naturally, if you grew up here or have
Uh-huh.
more of your, if you went to like college here as an immigrant parent, you birthed your
Mm-hmm.
children here, you knew that you aren't going to raise them with having a lived Nigerian experience versus
Fair.
the parents who actually had the lived Nigerian experience, then migrated with their children after. You think, yeah, there's more of a fear for your kids becoming too westernized. Like the adaptability, I feel like obviously has to be harder for the
Mm-hmm.
um more
The more
recent.
recent.
Yeah. But the thing is that in your parents' case, I'm not sure if it applies as much because I feel like they were very global and of the world,
Uh,
right? They had brothers, sisters living in the Western world. They
uh-huh.
had visited these countries
Uh-huh.
sometimes at least once a year. They're watching global news. I remember it was Sky News, it was CNN, it was Al
Uh-huh.
Jazeera. Um,
Uh-huh.
and my dad was downloading
Bro, the year
Nigerian
my
news.
father
It was
discovered Al
newspaper.
Jazeera.
Game over for all of us. Game over for all of us.
Hey! Bro, we ain't never went back. Kahu.
Game over.
Hey, shout out Jazeera, man, doing the hard work down in Gaza.
But yeah, I mean,
Anyways.
I think it's just, I think for us personally, I don't know if I'm struggling whether I want to talk about this more broadly or want to just talk about our soul experience. But I think your parents also have like very harsh connotations of the West because even that switch to go from Sky and CNN to solely Al Jazeera is because he's
Uh-huh.
tired of consuming Western media.
First,
So even
first.
before even before he reach, I already don't like this
Yeah,
stuff.
there it is. Yeah. So why
Yeah.
come?
Opportunity.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's where my struggle is. My struggle is if you send your kids here, whether you come with them, whether you're back home and they're here for school or whatever it is, you want them to collect opportunities, yes. But I
Mhm.
think you need to sort of make peace or make concessions that like they're going to absorb the community that they're in, right? They're going to absorb the culture to some extent. I think the
Mhm.
fear then comes with how much is too much.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Um,
ideally, you're right. They have to be real with themselves. I'm going to send
yeah.
a kid to college in America. They're going to be exposed to the world. What do you think
Mm-hmm.
was going to happen?
Yeah.
But in their mind, they want to at least advocate for zero absorption. Yes, come here, go to school, you read that
And
book,
that's
be the
all.
best. And that's the only thing I want you to take. Everything that you had
Is
from
that
Nigeria,
realistic though?
of course not, of course not, of course not. But you tell your daddy that it needs to be unrealistic. Actually, no, I can do that with you. Actually, yeah, you can tell your daddy that it needs to be unrealistic. No, you can. No, you can run that one. I can run that one. Just as
I like that. This is actually a thing that Malika and I do quite a lot. we have the version of like what we actually want to tell our parents. Then we come to each other and be like, this is what I want to say.
So how we go run up?
Can I actually say this? Right? We go with ourselves. You can say this one you cannot say. This
So,
one, anything you see there, you take it like that too. Yeah.
because you know this is going to be his reaction and this is going to be her
Yeah,
reaction. Then once
yeah,
you get down
yeah,
that,
yeah.
mental
So
gymnastics.
yeah, it's literally that's it. That's actually what it is. The entire experience is just the mental gymnastics of like, how do you build an authentic relationship with your parents
Honestly,
while honoring their expectations,
yeah.
especially when there are like cultural and generational differences at play.
You know something? I think again, sadly, I think I've ultimately given up on that. But that was sad for me too. Like I having the moment of I don't think I would genuinely be 100% or maybe even 80% authentically myself with my parents.
Uh,
Because I just think they were just too different of people
mm-hmm.
that it can't click.
You can't jail.
So hopefully there's enough of me and enough of them that have some overlap and spending time with each other is still worthwhile and there's still enough love there for, having a decent relationship. But as far as Mr. Anibaba and this other Mr. Anibaba having, real clean heart to hearts, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if
throwing it
I
away.
don't know if I live in that reality.
That's very
But
mature of you.
it is what it is.
Yeah. You can hear the sadness. I just saw little Malik. I want to go inside and hug him now. Just be
No, he's
like,
good. He's
sorry,
good. No, he's
bros.
straight. Nah, he's straight. He's straight. He's straight. Nah, he's good. He's good. Nah,
Yeah. That's a new thing that I discovered in therapy. When you get to this point, you have to, accept that like that parent that you wanted to show up for you in that way, unfortunately was not able to show up for you in that way. Not necessarily because they're bad people, but they just don't have the capability.
they
And you
exactly. It's
now
not that
have
they
to show
don't
up for
want to.
yourself in that way.
Exactly. It's not that they even want to because you can even explain. Even if you not explain it and you give it to them, they might not know also know how to.
Yeah.
So they're challenged.
Yeah.
It's not really all in their hands. It's again, it is what it is.
Well, today we figured that it would only be fair to have this conversation with a parent, right? To share their
Mm-hmm.
own perspective so that we can have a
Mm-hmm.
balanced conversation here.
Yeah.
And we also decided to choose a parent who we feel, at least from our point of view, seems to be doing this balancing relationship well with her two Nigerian American kids. So yeah, let's get into it.
Let's get it.
I'm very excited today because we decided that to have this conversation, we wanted to bring, I feel like this really is becoming a family and friends podcast.
I'm not upset at it at all.
Yes. So today we brought our aunt, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aunty Tayo.
Hi, Aunty
Hi.
Tayo.
Hi,
Hi.
everybody.
Kasoma.
Castle.
Just
That was a good podcast. Like, was it yesterday or like last week? Yeah.
yeah. I'm glad you
Mm,
enjoyed it. That's
it
really
was good.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, I'm taking what I learned from that one and I'm applying it now.
I know,
Good job.
right?
Good
Yeah.
job. I will say this. The day I discovered Aunt Tayo's real age, I couldn't believe it.
18.
I know
Yeah.
that. Hey, I like him. Nice.
Exactly.
Mm.
But we chose to have Aunt Tayo on because Aunt Tayo is an immigrant like us. Much earlier immigrant. So you moved here, I believe, in the 90s.
January 1997.
Nice.
Mm.
So let's start there. Tell us your Japa story. How did you end up in the US?
Well, okay, so what was it? It was med school and then internship. We do a rotational internship.
Okay.
And afterwards, it was like, okay, usually the next step is to do youth corps and then get a job or whatever. And then for some reason, I think the previous year, my dad had been like, yeah, doesn't think you should go anywhere, just stay. We never really talked about it. I kind of was a take one day at a time kind of person back then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what it was. He may have gone for a conference and just seen that, the direction of medicine, just the sophistication of medicine was just not it in Nigeria. I mean, back then, it's way better now. But back then, there just wasn't a lot of testing facilities and things like that. So he was like, yeah, maybe you should go to the States. I said, sure. So, and then I think what it was, I want to say that when the youth corps, I was assigned to must have been someplace in the north. My brother was like, there's no airport. You're going to have to land somewhere, take a boat, And I can't remember, but, I think he was exaggerating,
Yeah.
But, and so it was just kind of like, okay, go on, go. Uncle Jamal is there. And, hey, see ya. So, but I remember my trip, right? Because that was one of the last times I traveled British Airways. I remember, you're just like, you take whatever you can, it's like you're limited in what you're taking, right? And I remember my carry-on was pretty heavy. And then they were trying to do that whole, I can still remember, this is like 20-something years ago, right? Yeah, 30 years, 1997, it's almost like 28 years ago. And so it was like, yeah, I remember the bag. It was one Ralph Lauren, duffel bag, And then they were like, oh, it's too heavy, yada, yada, yada. You're going to have to. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I said, look at me. Then I was small. I was like, look at me and I'm like, me plus this, hand luggage is not as heavy as, a bunch of people here. So it's like, I was so frustrated and irritated. And I can't remember how I I think I just sort of roughed my way out of just resisted or just did a giddy or whatever. And then, and so that was it. And I came, and then I'm pretty sure it was Uncle Jamal that picked me up from San Francisco Airport.
Yeah.
And the rest is history.
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you all about her own experience with British Airways. So that can be a conversation for another day.
Count your days. Them and that their sister airline, American. The two, both of them. No.
American is ridiculously expensive.
It's actually bad. We won't even get into them today. Okay, some background questions. So you're in med school in Nigeria.
Did you finish?
Yeah, I finished med school. And I finished my residency.
Okay.
So the internship was just like now get some more work experience.
Like now you're the doc.
How did you find the internship? Because I have so many questions actually.
Okay.
I'm asking how you found the internship because I know it used to be a thing, and that maybe it's a rumor that is actually not true, about how doctors who are trained outside of the US, when they come here, they have to do the whole process again because they're not recognized as actual doctors by American standards. How did that work out?
So that is okay. So what it is you can't. It's not transferable. You're not like, okay, you're a medical doctor, and then you've done your intern. What do we call house job? Hey, you've done your house job in Nigeria. So then you now come and sit and you can go practice in whatever country, and even other countries. You can't really. Every country has its own process, right? So even if you're trained in America and you want to go to Nigeria, you still have to go through a process. So what it is you have to take the exams, and that's what I did in California, actually. So, so you take the exams, and then you now you have to find a residency program that you match with, and then do your residency here in the States. And after your residency here in the States, then you can now strike out on your own. I mean, and everybody does even US medical school grads also do a residency here as well. If you your specialty residency.
So do you come in on a student visa for that, or?
Everybody has a different pathway, right? So I did come on a student visa. I studied because I came on a student visa, studied for my boards, for my, then it was ECFMG. What did ECFMG stand for? Now it's USMLE. Then the US grads used to take USMLE, which is a US medical licensing exam. And then the foreign medical graduates used to take the I don't know, EC, Foreign Medical Graduates, ECFMG, whatever it is. I can't remember what the ENC stand for. And so I studied for that at Kaplan. Used to ride my bike from what was that? What
Linden
was the
Lane.
street? Linden Lane. Thank you. I used to ride
Linden
my bike from Linden Lane to like downtown. It was great actually.
Yeah.
And then so that was so I had a student's visa then. And then I had to, it made it a little bit complicated because I had to find you had to find a program in a specialty that you wanted to do that was willing to file an H1 visa for you. Now, another alternative would have been to find a place that was ready to do a J1 visa. That was more restrictive. So I was blessed. I was actually very lucky.
Yeah.
So
nice. My second question that I had was, had you been to the US before that?
Yeah, I'd been to the US. I'd been to the US. We were kind of US vacation kids, which I say that because a lot of people in Nigeria, they tend to go on vacation to England because it's closer. You know, a lot of people have family there. And honestly, I'm trying to think. I mean, we did go on vacation to England. Yeah, but not as much. So, so in the 70s, 76, 77, my parents were here on sabbatical. They're both professors, right? Both academics. So they did like a 1-year sabbatical where they were teaching at the University of Memphis. It was the University of Tennessee. But anyway, University of Memphis. And then, so we were there in school for like a year.
Wow.
And
okay.
Yeah. And then we would come, like they kind of did it where they would take 4 kids, right? So they'll go with 2 kids on vacation, or one parent would go with 2 kids, and then the next cycle, either the year or 2 years after, they would go with 2 other kids.
They're 2 other kids, yeah.
Man, funds, right?
Yeah. I guess when you are doing your residency, right? At any point were you thinking about like going back to Nigeria?
No.
You didn't consider it?
No, I mean, because I've always been very independent. And so it was kind of like the thought actually didn't cross my mind.
She was like, I'm here.
Yeah, and then again, back then, right, I was really just taking each day as it came. I wasn't making 5-year plans or anything like that. So it was just, man, let me get through this residency first, But yeah, it was kind of like, yeah, you get through your residency and get a job and just keep moving. It was funny because I remember I would come and visit, go to Nigeria to visit. And I remember the first time I came back, this was, I'd probably been here for like a couple of years. And then, some of my people from my med school were like, okay, so how is it? Like, trying to all go. And I'm like, it's actually very hard. It's not easy. I mean, you have to go there. You have to like ace the boards. You have to, find spots. You have to, you travel for interviews, and then you have to find a place to live. I was lucky because I had family. I mean, I had my uncles, that I could live with while I was getting a place, and not everybody has that. So it's like, and then once I got my apartment as a resident, it's like, then it's bills. It's like, phone bill, grocery bill, rent, utilities. And as a resident, you don't make a lot. I mean, you don't make a lot at all. It's like the cheapest labor. And it was definitely, it was like minimum wage level for real. So I was just like, people have this glamorous idea of like the States, and you have to pay your dues. I mean, for some of it, like it depends on at what stage you immigrate to the States. But for the most part, you pay your dues. Babysitting, home health, like it's not an easy,
experience.
Right. And then when I told them that, they were like, oh, you're trying to discourage us. I'm like, I just keep it real. Like, I've always been somebody.
No, you come, you do it. Then I will say, I told you so.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Right. But that's not my mindset, which is probably, that's a good mindset. But I'm just like, let me just give you the facts as it is and make an informed decision, So, yeah. Yeah.
So at some point you meet your husband?
Well, that came later.
Okay.
Shoot. Oh, my journey. Oh, so that was Chicago for 4 years. After Chicago, what did I do? Finished my residency, and then I decided I wanted to do a pain fellowship, a pain management fellowship, because I kind of wanted to be a little bit, diversify my resume. And I don't like to do the same thing all the time. And so I did that. That was in Virginia, University of Virginia. So that was 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah.
An experience.
Yep. So that was, and that's, Central Virginia. You see like how, it's almost like how it's not that far from West Virginia. Is it West Virginia? So you kind of see how rural America, you get an idea of it, I mean, once you were in William and Mary, so you have an idea of how, that is. And I really liked it. It's really pretty, and of course I had a
beautiful.
It is beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. And then I had a different set of friends there. So it was a little bit hard to leave because I left my, more Nigerian community. I didn't really think about it then because I was always, I was also adventurous. So it's like, let's go explore.
You're chasing the opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah. Just seeing something different. I didn't mind that at all. I was like by myself, bought a house out there. It was nice. It was nice. And it was when I was there that I had a friend of mine, because of course by this time I'm like, okay, I even remember your dad was like, so now that you've done MD and MBBS, when are you going to do MRS?
Oh God. Oh God.
Well, he's consistent.
He is consistent. Yes.
Yeah. But he was, my mom she'll come and visit and she'll bring I remember it was either Time or Newsweek magazine, and then with the cover story would be, women leaving childbearing till later on have a higher incidence of infertility and things like that. So it's like,
just
she wouldn't even
start
say this, she just put it on the table,
Wow.
Of course, then you're not like you look around. I mean, you kind of you conversate with people, you meet people who introduce you, usually like on the phone, you meet them, but then my friend, then she was like, oh, there's this guy, he's a Muslim, because that's also a little restrictive for some of us. And then it was like, and so she introduced us. We actually met, I had a conference in Texas. So I came out, he drove out it was San Antonio. It was San Antonio, May, whatever it was, 2000 and whatever. And then we met, we connected. I was like, oh, this seems like a nice guy, tall, good looking, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Turned out that he was really good friends with my cousin, my dad's side. And I was like, why didn't you ever introduce us? She was like, man, she just didn't see it. Because I'm a little he's more of a, what's the word? I guess conservative, what's the word? When you're sort of like a more typical Nigerian, what's the word I'm looking for? Traditional. Thank you.
You're welcome.
He's a little bit more traditional, and I'm a little bit less of a traditional, Nigerian person, I guess,
So would you have given yourself that label before you moved to the US?
I've always been I've always been a little atypical.
Okay.
So that just kind of continues. Yeah. But then it worked. I mean, I could see we're different. But so I could see what my cousin meant. But sometimes you just have to make it work, right? You just have to sort of meet in the middle, figure things out. You're not gonna be, as they say, who was it, like my dad or my, it's like even siblings, you guys, even siblings don't get along all the time. So yeah, so that's that.
Okay.
And then I moved, so it was like, he used to maybe I might move to Virginia. Like everybody at work was like, no, you can't take her. Like, can't you find a job out here? And he'll smile and be like, yeah, maybe. Meanwhile, he had no intention of like ever moving out of Texas. Like, wasn't going to happen. But it worked out well because I moved out here, and yeah.
All right. So now we've tacked on the MRS with the
As requested by my
MD.
father.
So when you started thinking about kids, did you consider going back home at that point, or it was still nah?
Nah. No, I mean, because I was here, like, I was here. Like,
yeah.
I was working by that. So I was working here and just, I mean, I liked it. Because the thing is that things are very organized,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell, okay, so I moved out here, moving here was a little bit tough because, especially with work, it's like you're working and then, I didn't really I found that Texas is very nichey. Like you just sort of have to find your niche, right?
Mm.
And I didn't really have a niche. So, go to work a lot, like whatever. And then
Wait, niche like social wise or like work
social
wise?
wise. Yeah. Yeah. You
Okay.
sort of have to find, I mean, there's everything here in Houston, like whatever whatever, you just have to find it. So then it turned out that, of course, young-ish married couple. So then it now became hanging out with like your friends, your husband's friends for the most part, to be honest. And I think that, that was what it was again. So I was now like my husband's friends, which, they became my friends. Not, it wasn't a big deal. And then, but it was more like I like to like go out. How will I explain it? It's like some of the more cultural things, like in terms of like see a show, go to the theater, whatever. Well, not really the theater, but see a show. That wasn't really doing that, but it was really like, little get-togethers. Like, okay, friends hang out at somebody's house, come hang out at our house. So we did that.
You like chill. You like chill.
I'm pretty chill. Yes, I don't like a lot of noise. Big 200 people. I'll do it, but I don't want to do it every weekend. I don't have to deal with a lot of traffic because of where I worked. So just working, hanging out, calm. You could pay your bills and travel once in a while. Go home, visit the family, come back. Find a place to travel. So it really wasn't on I wasn't really thinking of. There wasn't anything broken that I needed to fix, and I wasn't trying to go to Nigeria. It really was. I mean, I was here. This is home. My husband has always talked about it, though.
I feel like every Nigerian man living in the diaspora always flirts with the idea of moving back home. I don't know. I feel like they always
do
have that.
Yes, and a lot of, and if you notice, like the women are usually like, well, bye, you're on your own, because it's very different. Because the guys in America is like, hey, hon, trash needs to be taken out. Trash cans need to be brought in. Light bulb needs to be fixed. The smoke alarm is like buzzing. You know what I'm saying? It's like in Nigeria, they're not doing all that.
It should have been flagged. It should have been flagged. The system would have taken care of it.
Exactly. So, and then it's like, and then of course in Nigeria it's like, it's like you get a lot of deference. And over here, just like, you're just one of the regular people. So they like that. I feel like a lot of them like that. The deference you get in Nigeria, the fact that, you're like, you're a senior boy, a big boy, and
it serves you more.
Yes, exactly. You're not the one, you don't have to deal with some of the nitty-gritty and the scut work and things like that. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was asking because we wanted to get into like the meat of our conversation today. Abimsala and I were reflecting on what it's like growing up with our immigrant parents in the US who came a lot later. Like Abimsala and I were in college at the time that they came. But you had the experience of coming when you were in med school. You kind of like had like some adult formative years here before deciding to have kids, and what that relationship with your kids looks like versus what kind of relationship me and Abimsala would have with our parents because of your difference in lived experience and time within the US.
Right.
So like particularly, were there like any fears around raising like Nigerian kids in Texas?
Well, I would say not fears per se, because again, I don't really think long term, which is not But
I thought I was
Go
just
with
here
the
to exist.
I was
flow. We're
just
just
like
living
Like,
going with the
she's
flow.
life.
a
She's
happy
just a
girl.
girl.
She is.
that
She
part.
is.
That part. So, but then as as your kids get older, there is it, especially when it comes to things like discipline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, you hear the stories like, and I'm still like, well, they should come and call police, right? Because it's like sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I want to say this unapologetically,
Go
sometimes
for it.
some kids they need a good slap, like a good smacking, and that's just a
Yeah.
fact, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is, and and it's not all the time, and it's not every kid, but
Mm-hmm.
my kids, and I'm going to say probably more my son, but both of them,
Yeah.
and
Darius actually giving you.
shoot,
Starboy. Starboy.
shoot, you know,
He's
and so
mellowed out a bit though.
he has definitely
Yeah.
mellowed out a
Yeah.
bit, but in a different way,
Yeah.
and I'll get to that. So the thing is that, and then there's that story. No, especially like my sister, even my mom's no, if you hit them, what if they call the cops? What if and I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. You're gonna
Yeah.
get a smack, and
We'll cross
if you
that
want to go
bridge
to
if we
school
get
and go
there.
and tell your teacher that, oh yeah, my mom, my mom smacked me, I let them call, whatever DPS. It
CPS.
is
CPS.
what it is. They will take you from the house. You're gonna live with some stranger and they'll burn you with cigarettes. I don't know. So there are horror stories out there. So pick your poison. So it didn't deter me, but that was one of the a thought that
Concern.
crosses your mind. But and then one, even just you, but in general, I also had to like figure out like, okay, there's gotta be a way to get through to the kids that didn't
Mm-hmm.
involve, you have all these conversations about like corporal punishment and, beating kids. And I still say in certain circumstances is absolutely necessary, but there's different ways. I did a lot of talking, you
Mm-hmm.
have to figure out how to get your discipline message across
Mm-hmm.
in a way that they can process, and is it's not like based on fear. It's based on like just taking it in and learning and evolving and
Mm-hmm.
maturing.
Mm.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
Okay.
that was part of it.
So what kind
Would
of
you consider yourself a gentle parent?
No. I'm a yeller. I ain't no gentle parenting
Mhm.
because because the thing is, you say it once, you say it twice.
Mhm.
By the third time, I'm yelling. They're just
Yeah.
I'm a yeller. Like I will
Yeah.
shout. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been intentional about trying to bring it down,
Mhm.
but
Okay.
sometimes you just give me no choice.
Yeah.
What was
So yeah, no.
your outlook? What did you want their outlook on the world to be like? Like, were you like thinking, I want to raise like Nigerian kids. I want kids that like know, their roots, or maybe just actually let their experience of just living in America be what it is, and maybe not necessarily over imprint the Nigerian aspect of it. Maybe they need to be as intentional. Like, were you like thinking about those things, and
I
how do
wasn't
you
really
want to
thinking
frame it
about
for them?
them
Yeah.
at the time. It was kind of like you're a kid, and but as you get older, and it almost wasn't intentional. And then we started getting more intentional, right? Actually, I don't even know if
Mm-hmm.
we ever really got intentional because it now became, they would be exposed. Like we go to the mosque. My husband goes to the mosque quite, a bit, and it's a Nigerian community mosque. So
Mm-hmm.
they would see them. They got used to. I mean, but I was very intentional about I don't, you don't want to be criticized like the children don't have more record. So it's like you see uncle and
Mm-hmm.
auntie, grandma, you go there, wakulen wadobale,
Mm-hmm.
so that was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
So when we would go out there, you know how to greet people, and I'm very big on manners. So, and that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily, like from Nigeria, just in general, big on manners. But then it became, because we go to the mosque a lot, because we know where we have, we do interact with like, Nigerians at parties or, at gatherings. Then it became, it became like, yes, you have to know how to use your manners, in those settings, because and we
Spaces, yeah.
in those spaces, exactly. And we are, I think, Nigerians, we do have manners, more so. Because I mean, some of my kids' friends, they'll come to the house and they don't greet, and I'm like, kid, you go to somebody's house, please make sure you greet the parents and the grandparents
Yeah.
or whoever is there, and so and then my kids, because we're like in the burbs, right? We're in the suburbs. Their elementary school wasn't very diverse,
Mm-hmm.
so it was mostly majority like Caucasian, whatever, and so it was kind of like, man, I don't really know how this is going to work out. I did start thinking about those things. But then because of extracurricular activities, we found ourselves in track, and track is very diverse. So they had that exposure. But again, not necessarily to Nigerians, right? And I was okay with that. I didn't really feel the need for them to be exposed to Nigerians because they already had that exposure at the mosque and with some of the social gatherings that we would attend, right? So that was that. But I will say one thing that I was very intentional about is pride in your culture, like in your, because the thing is, I'll look around, right? And we don't have colonial mentality. I'm not a colonial mentality kind of person. I'm not trying to have long straight hair. I mean, I'm not saying everybody that wants to have long straight hair has colonial mentality, but I'm very like, I have a lot of pride, and my husband has a lot of pride in where we're from. So I was very intentional about, being proud of, like, no qualms about your skin tone. We tend to be darker. Nigerians are darker, Black people in general, hair, our 4C hair, man, is different. And it depends on, I mean, and so I was very intentional about that. So, my daughter is like, oh my goodness, I'll tell almost every day, oh, your hair is so pretty, da, 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 da. And, sort of emphasize what was good and beautiful about those things. So you're not like wishing you had that, African American, 3C or whatever it is, the nice, like, big curls or whatever, or like, have like, sort of be self-conscious about like, oh, I'm a bit darker than a lot of people around, or nothing like that. So that was intentional.
So that was
And
your
the same,
non-negotiable.
say that again.
That was like your non-negotiable.
That was non-negotiable, yeah. Because in Nigeria, it's like everybody around you is Black, so that you come here, so I didn't want a situation where you're here and your sense of beauty is, what's that girl? That girl, that YouTuber, whatever, Sydney Sweeney has good genes. Oh no, Japa Diaries, Tayo, Abiola, we have good
We all
genes.
have good
genes.
We all have good genes. Malik, Abim, we have great genes.
Yeah. Quick timestamp. How old are your kids? Because I realize we haven't said that yet.
Okay, so my daughter is 17 and my son is 11.
Like I like that just bust my brain.
Whoa,
Yes, senior in high school. God
So
help
going to
us all.
college.
Yep. And then, so that's Adebola is 17, Adarian Sola, aka Darren, he's 11, and he's in 6th grade middle school. Yeah.
Hey.
We've been in this country for a while, Malik, because
Wow.
I remember when she was not 17.
You
Bruh,
have, it goes by very quickly. When I first came, we used to call people that were here, like more than 10, 15, 20 years. Pentagon. Pentagon. And next thing I knew, it was like, I've been in this country for 15 years.
Oh
I've
my
been in this
God,
country for like,
Pentagon.
man, 28 years. Like, it's a wrap,
Wow.
So, yeah.
My question up was, I'm like, your daughter is 17. She's in it. Like, she's in the experience of like dealing with those beauty standards and like having those experiences, dating even. Like, how is that going?
She and her friends have had those conversations I just had, that you just asked about, where, oh my God, we're in this school, and it's like, you look around, there's not that many Black boys, and the Black boys that are here, their sense of beauty are like the Oimbos, and it's like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
And then they have friends in other schools that are more diverse. And it's like those girls have like, you know, they have more sort of
Pick of the
guys
litter.
pick of the
A-
litter,
a
very
bigger
well
pool.
put,
Mhm.
a bigger pool. And there have been conversations of, I think they you know, I think she was, because she, you know, she kind of tells me like, you know, some of the conversations she has where talking to, you know, some of the guys, like black guys, it's like, so what's with the deal? Like y'all, you know, don't fight, you know, you're more into like the Oimbos, and it's like, yeah, well, because black girls are just, you know, loud and and aggressive or something. And she's like, what? You know, so those things she's had to navigate. But because again, I have been very intentional, like even her friends, I'm like, oh my God, your friend, like her bone structure, beautiful. Her hair is gorgeous. Oh, look, her skin tone. Oh my God. And I'm like literally like oohing and eyeing about these
to them,
girls.
yeah.
So they're not self-conscious. They just know that this is reality. This is their
I'm a
reality.
baddie, and these guys just happen to not know that we're baddies.
Bingo, that part, you know? And
Nice.
so it's not an issue, you know, she's not like she's not like into boys or anything. She has had, and then because, you know, they have other things that they do, like extra, you know, mostly like their sporting activities. So you do meet people that want to, you know, even like, you know, she met like some guy when she was lifeguarding that wants to take you out. She has also had her own share of like, well, you know, he's really into church. And it's like, I'm like, girl, yeah, it's going to be an interesting journey.
Yeah.
You know, so
do you
yes.
talk about that? Like, are you guys friends? Is that a setup that you have?
Yeah, we are. Because that was one
that
of the things.
intentional?
No, it just happened because she talks a lot. You know, and I talk a lot. I talk a lot as well. You know, and I'm very, I ask questions. Like I want to know. And my thing is like, are you okay? Are you struggling? You know, do you need, you know, is everything cool? So she would, and so I'll ask like, okay, what happened at school? Like, so I really ask, you know, I kind of go in the deep dive. So somehow, I guess she's really comfortable, you know, talking to me, letting me know stuff. You know,
Did you kind of have that relationship with your own parents
with
as well, or
not
not really?
Not really. And that was, you know, one of the things you brought up is like, it's kind of different. I don't, you know, it's different because, yeah, I mean, yeah, not really. But like, well, I would talk to my parents about different things. You know, if you're like having problems in general with like life in general, or maybe work. And, you know, sometimes we'll have like distance sessions. A little less so now because my mom is really hard of hearing. But, and then my dad is older. And so, you know, but not things like navigating, you know, boys, or I
Not
mean,
the
all the people I dated, my
nitty-gritty.
parents didn't approve of them anyway, so we weren't having those conversations. It was just like, this one that you're bringing, this one that you're dating, blah blah, and I was just like, I didn't say I married anybody, leave me alone, it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, so it's a different relationship that we have
Okay.
compared to what I have with my parents.
Yeah.
So like up until now, like a lot of like the parenting, the kind of confidence you're trying to instill in her, you know, her beauty standards, all that kind of thing. Just in general, like have you seen any clash of your parenting style versus like the American parenting style that maybe her friends are getting? And is there like a clash?
What you're doing versus what her friends are saying. Well, my friend's
Like
mom let her
do this, let her do
Not
that.
really, because I'm actually I'm pretty lenient.
She's liberal. She has
I'm
told us
pretty
that she's
liberal.
liberal.
Yes, exactly. I am pretty
Atypical.
liberal. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, yesterday she had her friends were over here, you know, with dairy in the pool till like 11:30. And I was like, I told her you need to shut it down at 11. But I'm not like coming out and like, okay, everybody shoo. I just kind of, all right, when are y'all going? Like, what's happening? You wrapping up, you know? So I'm pretty liberal, you know, in general. And I, you know, it's like even the way she dresses, like what do you, you know?
So she can wear short skirt.
Yeah, girl. In fact,
Star.
she it is what it is. She does. I mean, it is what it is. You know, it's like there's sometimes I'm like, what is she? I was like, you know, some things I call it a skirt. is you can't call it a skirt.
It
Pochette. Yeah.
The R and the T, in fact, is a skit. You know,
Yes.
her dad really has issues with that. I let them figure it out by themselves. They're like, yeah, you're not engaged. You should encourage her to dress modestly. Like, when I was young, I mean, we used to wear half yard. So I would be a huge
What is
hypocrite.
half yard? Hold
Half
on.
yard,
What is half yard?
you only need a half yard to make the dress. It's okay. But that's just a little dress. That's just a little dress. But now it's like they wear these little scarves. You know, they wear crop tops. Like, it's like, must your belly show all the time? It's okay. You know, it's like, it is what it is. I'm not going to I'll just say something and just keep it moving. And her dad was like, you should encourage her to dress more modestly. At the end, I'm just like, I mean, you're young, you're fit, it's
you're
like,
a baddie girl.
what are you gonna do? It's like, do it while you're young. When you're like, especially when you get to my age, I'm not trying to wear no hat, crop top for nothing. So enjoy it while you can. So, so back to the thing that I think apart from just like the manners, like, and we get into it, like, so sometimes it's like having discussions and then you're arguing with me, So I will have those, if you've ever watched any of those like comedians that are like Nigerian, American, and the things that they say, it's that is what it is. Your grades, the other day, I can't remember what she got like a 80 something. There's still a B, a B. It's like, that stereotypical, you got 95. What happened to the other 5%? Those other people, do they have the one that got 99 or 100, do they have two heads? It is. I mean, I do not a lot. I don't do it a lot because you don't want to put like huge amounts of pressure. But I would I did make it very clear, like, you need to have, good grades and maintain your grades and have a higher standard for yourself with her and Daring. The only thing I'll say is maybe her dressing, and that's with as relates to her dad. With me, I'm cool. I'm pretty liberal.
Just get the grades and be good mannered. Everything else, you enjoy yourself.
Everything else,
you enjoy yourself.
That's pretty much.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. I'm actually curious about that now. Are there things about America that you want them to take, like you want them to like have in them?
I feel like there's a little less emphasis on impressing people.
Yeah.
Things
That's
like design, like, I mean, you don't have like, you can be super wealthy here. Everyone's wearing like designer, it's like, it's people are pretty simple. And I'm not talking about the like highfalutin celebrities. I'm just talking about just regular people.
Regular people.
Yeah. So really, like, I feel like there's not a lot of. They're very like, I want my child to do well in baseball or to succeed or whatever. There's not a whole lot of,
like status on display type of thing.
Yeah.
Because Nigerians, we are very.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's something.
That's one thing I really enjoy being here. Actually, I really enjoy that.
Yeah,
I like being just like
myself,
bro. Right. Every day somebody must flex. Like even when I see myself going to like events or like concerts or everything, I'm like, I already know everybody's gonna be dressed to like. We must press ourselves, even though we're all in the dark.
Right.
Everybody must press. So now me too, I'm like,
yes,
press somebody today. Like, wow. So I'm asking this because like earlier, Malik, I was telling Malik that a lot of my strains with my parents comes from like this fear of me being to America, right? And I'm like, surely there's some goodness in this place that can be absorbed, right? It can't be all bad, otherwise we wouldn't have come here.
Right.
So I think that's a good one too. And I think my parents have always been very simple people anyways. They've never been those people. Right. So even in Nigeria, when Malik, the one that actually saw this thing the most with them, like Malik would say, oh, he wants this shoe, or he wants this game, or he wants this. Because his friend has it. God forbid you say, but my friend has. You're never getting it. You can never see it.
I didn't learn the Lamba on time. I just said I wanted it. I should have done the comparison game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's good. That's
Okay.
good. I'm curious now about the little dating piece. Like, do you
Oh
have
my god.
preferences? I'm
Okay, okay, okay,
curious.
okay.
I'm
Fair, fair.
curious
Actually, fair, fair.
Yeah, well, I
because
mean, uh-huh.
do you have preferences about the type of people they bring home? Exactly.
That's a big sigh.
Exactly.
Well, I will say I'm going to go with daring, right? Because again, very and his ears are like so sharp, so he's probably going to hear me. But very Caucasian elementary school,
Mm.
and even I mean they're
Mm.
not dating at that age, right? I mean, although actually no, I just people, there's always one little girlfriend or one
You
little
have
boy,
one
like they
crush,
do that a
yeah.
little
And the
bit.
babes, that's true. The babes used to mention that, yeah. I was like, we sound very like white, but go
Right,
ahead.
exactly. Right. And so it's like, so I mean, so this is a funny story. I was actually like, this boy is going to end up with Oimbo. He's going to bring more Oimbo girl home, which is not, big. It would not be my preference, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is what it is. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
some, huge thing. But I, again, intentional about informing him that, standard of beauty is, I mean, look at your mom, look at your sister, look at your sister's friends, look at your family, your cousins and things like that. So you get that. And, so that you're
Mm-hmm.
not just sort of, you're not just sort of like,
Tunnel
you don't,
vision.
yeah, tunnel
Yeah,
vision and you
yeah.
don't have any other options. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But because if, at least you have all those options, you pick what you pick. But sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
just, this is all you're used to, this is all you see. So he started middle school, and middle school is more diverse. There's people from different schools. And he's like, he was saying something the other day, and he was like, oh my goodness, something, some black girls, and like, they're hot. I was
Mm.
like,
Ah.
what?
We did not lose him. We did not lose
Exactly.
him.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, but you had like there was some black girls and you're like, elementary school. It's like, yeah, but they were only like 2 or 3 and they were annoying. It's like now there are more.
Mm.
I was like, okay, there's hope. So
Okay.
that was I
Okay.
don't know. I mean, that's kind of like the indirect answers to that
That was
question.
your win.
That was
Yeah.
it was yeah, it was good. And again, some of it has been intentional, like so that you're like, this is emphasizing the beauty of, this dark, because some dark skinned girls are just beautiful, but
Baddie.
then
Yeah.
sometimes it can be a bit of a tough road because all you see on TV and all you see is this, bright skin, whatever, which is all well and good, but there's beauty comes in all shades and shapes and
Mm-hmm.
sizes, and that's just important for me, for people to, for my kids to realize.
Remember.
Mm-hmm.
And for Adebola, it's like, you know what, ideally, okay, so as we're looking at colleges, it's like, look at, it's like, it's going to be, it's, you kind of want to look at like, okay, so is it diverse? Like, will
Mhm.
you at least, have exposure to different, people that you
Mhm.
might be able to date, and, preferably like, young Muslim guy. Me personally, even if they're young Muslim and Mid-Eastern, I'm okay, but that's a whole different issue. But I don't
Mhm.
necessarily need, I'm not really like, oh, it has to be a Nigerian or whatever. But just keep your options open. I haven't really, I do have those conversations sometimes. Like sometimes she gives me like a weird look. I'm like, hey, what about this person? Like his grandma, his mom's, whatever. Like that's his mom is like from a nice background. Like you might want to at
Wow.
least
Yeah,
consider
okay.
that person. Like as you never know. She looks at me. Are you trying to marry me off? No, I just want you to think about it
Nah,
like
I feel like you already
early,
set yourself. Yeah, set
because
yourself. Yeah.
yeah. Otherwise, you don't think, you're like 42 and you haven't really thought about it. And then, the options are just not quite the same. So, but
Fair.
yeah. So I do have just nothing serious, but just kind of sowing some seeds out there that you do want to at least think about things from time to time. Doesn't make a
Mhm.
difference. I don't think about anything, but yeah,
Fair
at
enough.
least I put it out there.
Fair enough. Let me
Fair,
ask you
fair.
one last thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you always be parenting your kids? Like I know
Yes.
Darren is a little younger. Okay, there you go. That's my
No,
answer.
go ahead. I want to hear your question. Go
Because
ahead.
I know like Debola is becoming an adult now, right? She'll go off to
Mhm.
college. I'm sure she'll see even more of the world than she has right now. Like, do you always
Right.
feel like you're
Mhm.
always going to be like somewhat giving advice or just parenting?
But I will actually throw it back before I even answer. Like, how has your experience been? Like, do
Yeah,
you
they're still
feel like, I
parenting
mean,
us. They're still
yeah,
definitely parenting us.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think, and I talk to like, my
Is that
friends whose kids
prefer?
are older, right? And you don't necessarily have to listen to what they say or, like act on what they say, but there's still guidance. Because I asked, I've asked, I talked to like my, like my sisters and friends whose kids are older. I had my kids later in life, so I have a lot of like my contemporaries, their kids are older. And it's usually, it's like, okay, college, even when you get to college, I told them like, it's not like you want to, like you keep saying you don't want to stay in Texas, you want to go far. I'm like, what are you going to do when you're having like a little, you know, emotional meltdown and somebody has to go out there and hold your hand? Because it happens. It happens. And this is not Nigerian. This is like my friend, that I used to work with. It's like you sometimes have to go out and support the kid that is not there. So they have to be accessible. And then even after college, it's like, okay, like what do I want to do after college? Like job searches, buying a home, then it's like, okay, getting married. And then you start having kids. And then it's like, you have the kids. It's like, oh, what do I do? It doesn't stop. I mean, it just, so yes, I feel like I'll always be parenting them. And I pray that I'll be here for a really long time so I can, you know what I'm saying?
Inshallah.
So yeah, yes, indeed. But I was going to mention something that during the conversation of raising kids in America, Nigerian kids in America, another thing I was very intentional about is going to Nigeria for holiday. It's like, yes, we'll go to Nigeria. I mean, I can never go for a really long time, unfortunately, because of work. But it's like you go, even if it's like 10 days, even if it's a week, it's like we'll go, we'll see family. And then we actually sort of narrowed down the amount of family we would see. It's like, direct uncles, like, but not make it like, oh, today we're going to see uncle this, tomorrow we're going to see auntie this, and you just find that you're there for the 1 week and the whole week you are going from uncle to auntie, and it gets exhausting and it's boring for the kids. And so I would like go, like it's it's like, why are we go? And I've always had this conversation even when I was in Chicago, like, why are we going to now do holiday exotic place? We're going to some place with one beach with one straggly palm trees or whatever. We have a lot in Nigeria. So it's like, okay, we got great beaches. We'll go there, do stuff. Like we've done waterfalls. We've done, what's that thing? We've done suspended lake. We've done springs, hot and cold springs.
Give me your
We've done
itinerary. Let me go and
Oluma
test it
Rock.
when I
You know
go.
what I'm saying? We've done we've done the slave the point of no return. So I make it very. We did Lagos. I loving Lagos bus tour. So I make it like, and then you go there.
I said, give me your itinerary.
I'll give you, because that is my thing. It's like, and I'm pretty good at that. It's like, and then of course my sister she always like, she lives there. Felicia that lives there. She has like, oh, this hotel has this really nice pool. They have water park. There's a water park in Nigeria now. So we plan. Yes, there's a water park. I forget where it is. It's pretty new. So so we do that. So, like back in the days, like like when parents that I hear is like, if you don't like behave yourself, if you like, don't listen to what I have to say, and if you're rude to me and everybody, I'll take you to Nigeria. It's like, no, my kids like, take me to Nigeria. Woo, woo, it's gonna be fun.
Let's go.
So yeah. And then the other thing that crossed my mind was having like sometimes like the interaction, because even like when you were saying dairy, it's like it's getting to the point where you're not going to be able to slap it, but it's like you give them in instructions.
She said, I can't slap him again.
I still can, but it's not going to last very long. But
a senior man.
Yeah, but even like the arguments, like even both of them, Dima and Darren, it's like we're having a conversation. I was like, drop your tone. Don't talk to me like that. Like, I'm not one of your little friends, and that is, I think that has probably come from, I blame myself, obviously, because I think that has come from, even though I'm not a gentle parent, but that has come from me being a little liberal. And how and I tell them back in the day when we were younger, when I was younger, children were seen and not heard. It was a thing.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, not that extent, but it's like when people are hanging around and, your adults are talking, you go somewhere, you read a book. This one, they're in there, they're interjecting, which is not a terrible thing. But then they now start subconsciously thinking you're all on the same level.
Yeah.
And then we're having a discussion. It's like, this is not a democracy. I'm telling you something. They're talking back.
Yeah.
It's like
I think
asking you why.
Yeah, it's very
I said you should do this.
You did that. Yeah, you need the balance because you also want them to be confident enough to, speak up to people in any space or room they're in.
Right.
But you still also need to understand respect and dynamics.
Right.
You don't go too far. They're still my parents. Type of situation.
Right.
So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I think, is it tougher here? I don't know. I guess. I don't know. I don't have anything to compare to.
You don't have. Yeah.
I don't have anything to compare to.
But like back when I was saying, I give my parents a lot of grace to like with parenting us. Like I know in my parents' situation, there a lot of that they were seen and not heard type of situation. Like I don't know how true their relationship was with their parents. I feel like they understood their obligations to them. I don't know, how connected they were. So having that experience themselves, I'm not sure, they thought they'd have, or I'm not sure they wanted to translate that directly for us, or if they were looking for improvement, or would they even know how to improve on the situation they experienced? Like,
It's a jump, yeah.
So I give them a lot of grace in that space.
Yeah.
I was going to ask one question before we head to a break. Do you have any general advice as a parent yourself to people like us who are navigating relationships with our parents, and trying to do that balance between like, okay, I kind of want to be myself, who maybe we didn't have as liberal parents, as you, like, I want to be myself, but I still want to like honor mom and dad.
Well, I would say there's a little bit of a code switch, Number one, and I say that because I'll use the dressing, my daughter's dressing as an example. When she was younger, she'd be like, okay, she's like about to go out and she's like, oh, daddy, she's daddy's little girl. Oh, daddy, like, see, dee. And he'd be like, what? I said, girl, I'm not encouraging you, but you might want to just be like, all right, bye, dad, love you, and dip. Because it's not easy. So, and I say that in terms of, and I'm not saying to hide stuff. I'm just saying that that's why I say code switch, right? It's like if there are things that, you're not, you agree to disagree. It's just, gently keep it away from there. And I'll give an example. Like say, you're dating somebody, right? And it's like, okay, we're coming to the house, and it's like, your parents might not, like being, how do I explain it? Like coming to the house with a date and you're spending the night. Y'all aren't going to be in the same room. I don't know what kind of level of your relationship is. I don't want to know, So you just have that sort of whatever, while you're in that space, this is the way things are going to be. And then when you're in a different space, it should still be like that, but whatever it is,
So just for
just
sure
think,
not under my roof.
you see what I'm saying? And it's just so that's what I mean by code switch. And how do you navigate like differences? Just respect.
Sarah, thank you so much. You shared a lot of gems with us, and I feel like you have a couple more in you. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
All right, cool.
Hey fam, it's Abim here with a little something special just for our listeners. We're sharing an exclusive discount to our community game night event just for you guys. Now all you have to do is use code AWOOF at checkout to save some coins on your tickets. That's AWOOF, AWOOF. Remember, it's games, music, good food, good vibes, all on September 6th in Austin, Texas. Now guys, this AWOOF won't last forever. So go ahead and grab your tickets at japadiaries.com/event. Bye!
So we asked our listeners, right? Because we like to do this on Instagram. We asked, when your parents give you advice you disagree with, what do you do? Very, I'm not, am I really surprised? All right. So 14% said they would follow it to peace. Just okay. Oh, yeah, people please, I need to look into that. Whoever who are voting that way. 43% said ignore it and do your own thing. And I think I think we are many because even your advice was the same. Thank you, ma. Eshema. Good to
I,
know. That is good.
well, I'm not a big advocate. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, yeah,
Just do your piece, do your piece.
right.
29% said they would have a direct conversation. As a I think I'm somewhere in between those two.
I was
Hold
gonna
on.
say,
And
yeah,
Do
yeah,
I
and
have the
then
mental capacity to have this conversation?
that is
Yes.
it.
If
That
I
is
don't,
actually what it is.
it's the other one.
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that part. Yeah,
yes,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then 14% said they're gonna feel guilty no matter what. It doesn't matter what they do, they're still gonna feel like they're just not doing enough.
It's okay. You have to put
Which
you first. You gotta put you first.
Well, and it also depends on. It was a very broad question. It depends on
What
what
it
it
is.
is.
Yeah.
Mhm,
You know what I'm saying? It really
mhm,
depends on what that thing that they're advising you is about.
mhm.
So,
Do you
you know,
parents still parent you now?
not so much. Not
Okay.
so much.
Do you
Yeah, we
parent
kind
them?
of we huh?
Do you
Do I
parent them?
No, not really. I
Okay.
mean, obviously, my dad is like definitely like older, so to a certain extent. And you know what? Actually, yes, I think the answer is a bit of a yes,
Yeah,
because
because
things like having to like a bit of a yes. Actually, interestingly enough, like even my mom is like, okay, why is this thing bothering you? This is the way you might want to deal with this, So yeah, it has switched, and I didn't think about it until like literally just now.
yeah.
Because
Mhm.
I'm going to say they were probably still parenting until maybe the last 4 years or something,
Whoa,
or 5 years,
that is
Abisola
scary.
is
Yeah.
sure for you die.
Yeah.
He's sure for you.
Yeah.
Oh, because like my thing was like I can't say I empathize because I just cannot live that experience. I'm not a parent. I don't know what that's like, but like
Yeah.
I can understand there's a level of purpose that comes with being a parent that you
Right.
feel like you have to keep delivering in. I think what stresses me is I hate the idea that like I will constantly have to keep somehow having to prove my ability to make my own decisions.
Do you have
Okay.
to
So
prove it?
I think you're looking at it, the way you're looking at it is skewed,
Okay, talk to me.
because it's more like making suggestions. This is what I think, like
Have you been met my parents?
I bet your parents, right? And I'm not talking about, so it depends on what y'all are talking. Like that's why I said it depends on
Mhm,
what the discussion is. But in general, like I'm
mhm,
thinking of my parents, but
mhm,
it's like, okay, this is what I think. Have you thought about it in this way? Yada yada yada. And it's for me to take it or to leave it,
That's it.
mhm,
or we can even discuss it, like
mhm.
Malik said. But it's not like you don't have to
Prove
necessarily. Again, it
yourself.
depends on what it
Yeah.
is. It doesn't. You don't have to prove that your conversation. Prove that you're right. You're young, and so you're still in that parenting phase. But it's not going to be the
Yeah.
same level of parenting in another. I'm going to say 10 years. Hang in there.
Yeah. I want to say you don't need to prove anything. There's
You don't need to
no
prove anything,
Yeah.
there's no validation that needs to come with it. It's you
right?
think
Yeah.
this, I think this, so at least
Yes,
Mhm,
you are aware of why I'm going in this direction.
right.
I said it to you,
mhm,
Yeah.
but
mhm,
that's actually just what it is. Now I'm gonna go
Ma-
do that
mhm,
thing based on what I just shared with
Malik is
you, and that's it.
100% right. Yeah, and it's
mhm,
not because I think you're thinking about it in terms of you want to convince them to come
mhm,
around to the way you're thinking.
mhm.
You don't need to.
It's not gonna
It's
do
Here's the
not
that.
going to happen.
but what if you need them to be convinced? Because well, I think we're talking about the luxury of I can just go do my own thing. But some things you need your parents on your side to actually get this done. And if we actually both fully disagree, then where do we go from there? If hypothetical, if Abimsa wants to get married now, my dad says but she says
Right.
that is going to be a very hard thing to say.
Right.
No, you do
Yeah.
what you want, or
Right.
now
And
do what
that's
I
why I
want.
said it depends on what it is, right? 100%. That's becomes more complicated. But if it's something like, okay, I think I want to buy a house, it's like,
Oh, see those decisions. I kind of do what I want to do. And I say, you know what, I hear you. And I'm very forthcoming with like, I don't hide that I've made my own decision. I
right.
like to be very clear that I've
But
made
you
my own
have to,
decision.
but I'm going to tell you one thing though, because I think younger people, you don't it's like, you do realize that we have some wisdom and years and experience. So
Yeah.
my advice is listen to what they have to say. I'm not saying don't do what you want to do, but hear them out. That's why I said listen, listen to what they have to say and take it in. Don't just like, okay, good, I'm just listening for them to like get through to the full stop. No, take it in, take it into consideration. And then it's like, okay. And then you now look at them and then you know that, okay, but what I've decided on, I still think this is a good decision. And I'm talking about things like buying a house. Okay.
Yeah. So then what happens if you are looking at those big decisions like getting married or like what school you're going to go to? Because if they're the ones that are paying the school fees,
Right.
they're buying.
Right.
Like what do you do? What do you do then?
You have to, you listen. You did that. You did that with school, right? Yeah. And that's exactly what you do. You have the conversation, you do your research, you make it make sense, and then you have a dialogue, you have that conversation with them, and you have to, and you'd have to, what's the word? Acknowledge and appreciate the fact that you need their input, and they're the people that are going to be, like providing the funds, because that's really important, so that you're not like just entitled and da 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 da. So by the time you have all that and you package it right, and then you come to, okay, can we have a middle? You might have to have the middle ground. Like, okay, and that's exactly, that's basically what you have to do. Think about
And
what you
guys,
did. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, like, worst case scenario, have your vex money because
That's
Have
the
your
only
what?
way. That's the only way.
have your vex money and
That's the only way. Because you can do all of
just be
that.
ready to
You
take
can do
care of
all of that.
yourself,
And if he
babes.
says no, then
Well,
you have no
now,
choice, man.
but then you still want, like, if you have your vex money, you do whatever you're gonna do, right? And they don't buy in, right? Then how will your relationship be? Like,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying?
That's the hard part of it, right? Because
That I think is the hard part
if
of
a
it.
person
Yeah.
feels strongly that this is the school for me, I see my life, this is best projection, this is exactly what is best. And my dad is saying, okay, no, I have this wealth of experience. No, I'm seeing it this way. This is the
Right.
best way to do it. Okay, middle ground. I'm not budging the middle ground. My daughter, this is what I do is best for you. I cannot risk any of my dollars to something that I don't think will benefit you, and I will not do it this way or nothing. Simsola does not have a choice.
Okay. Okay, if you put it that way, I like to think people are reasonable, parents included.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But
this is worst case
yeah.
scenario.
Yes,
This is actually
yeah.
worst
This
case
is worst case
scenario.
scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, yeah. I don't
Vex money.
disagree. Yeah.
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 That was
But
a
talking
very
about your
robust
parents, I don't
one.
want to. Okay, so here's the thing. I was going to say this, right?
Okay.
Especially when I heard the podcast with Jalil. It's like Malik is your dad, and you are like your mom. It was actually eerie. I was listening to it,
Wow.
and I was like, oh my goodness, So yeah, that just want to throw that out there. It's interesting. Genes are
At the
interesting.
end of the day, we're the same people.
Can you just imagine? I want to be fighting. I want to be
and we're
fighting.
arguing with
What are we fighting
ourselves.
about?
I
They
know,
were
right?
the same people.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
Aunty Tayo,
righty.
thank you so much
That
for
was
this
great,
conversation.
You're welcome.
We
It
actually
was
had a
fun.
good chat. We had a really good chat.
Yeah.
Where are you on the internet if you want people to be able to find you? If they're having problem and they want Aunty Tayo to help them, maybe they are in med school, they are interested in, anesthesia, the kind of things. Do you want them to find you?
They can find me. I'm an open book. I try to help people. I'm not gonna say I'm not an IG. I just don't really check it a lot. I don't even know what my handle is. You might have to find it and post it or something. I'm old school. I'm an oldie. I'm Facebook. So if you find me on Facebook, Instant Messenger, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But it's it's Tayo Iola. But I think if you can find me on Instagram, Tayo Iola, and then you just like send me a DM or something. And yeah. That's kind of yeah.
I guess what, guys? We're days to the event. Okay, if you are in Austin, Texas, you're in the Texas area. Even our listeners in Houston, you better drive because I know you want to do it. Make sure you come down to our event. We're having a game night September 6th in Austin, Texas. It's gonna be so much fun. Vendors are locked in, DJ is locked in, the vibe is set. I'm so excited. The games are set. Listen,
I'll be wearing my Games Masters hat, so it should be a great time.
Yes. And hopefully we see you there this weekend. And if not, we'll catch you next. Let me not say that, because we might take a break. If not, we'll see you when we see you. All right, y'all have a good one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right, bye. Thanks for having me. It was a nice talk.